Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we'll be looking at NABTEB Mathematics past question papers. Now, our first question says the dimensions of a room are 15 meters long, 8 meters wide, and 10 meters high. Calculate the angle which the diagonal of the room makes with the floor. Now, let's understand the question. We have the room floor. Let's assume this is a room floor. Okay. Now, they said the width is 8 meters and the length is 15 meters. Now, this room floor has its own diagonal. All right. Now, if we include the height of the room, which is 10 meters, we are asked to calculate the angle which the diagonal of the room makes with the floor. So we are asked to calculate this angle. So first off, we need to calculate the diagonal of our room floor. So in order to get to the diagonal of our room floor, let's look at it in our Pythagoras theorem. Since this is 90 degrees, now this will be 15 and 8 meters. So finding our diagonal here, this will be hypotenuse squared equals opposite squared plus adjacent squared. Now our hypotenuse squared would be 15 plus 8 squared. Okay, now our hypotenuse squared would be 225 plus 64. Now this gives us 289, which is our hypotenuse squared. Okay, so our hypotenuse would be the square root of 289, which gives us 17 meters. That means the diagonal of our room floor would be 17 meters. Now, bearing that in mind, that the diagonal of our room floor is 17 meters, now we can now find the angle which it makes, which the room diagonal makes to the floor. Now, this is our room diagonal, which is 17 meters, and this is the height, which is 10 meters. So this diagonal of the room, top of the room wall to the floor. Okay, so for us to calculate this angle, theta, all right, now we have this as our adjacent and opposite. Now, if we look at our SOHCAHTOA rule, where we have our SO, which is sine, opposite, and hypotenuse, cos, adjacent over hypotenuse, and TOA, tan, which is opposite over adjacent. Now, from our diagram here, we are given our opposite and adjacent. So we are going to use TOA, which is tan theta. So tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, so tan theta in this case would be 10 over 17. So our tan theta would be 10 divided by 17 would give us 0.5882. Okay, so our theta would be tan inverse of 0.5882. Okay, so theta would be tan inverse of 0.5882, which gives us 30.46 degrees, or to one decimal place would be 30.5 degrees. So this, we have found the angle which the diagonal of the room makes with the floor. And next question says, solve the equation 3x squared plus 4x minus 7 equals 0. Now, in order to solve this, we can use at least 2 or 3 methods to solve this. Okay, to solve the equation, we can use a graphical method, we can use a factorization method, we can use completing the square method, or general formula, quadratic formula to solve our equation. But for this, let's look at using factorization. All right, Now, to factorize this, 3x squared plus 4x minus 7 equals 0. Now, we would multiply these two terms together. 3 times minus 7 will give us minus 21x squared. Now, at this point, we would look for the factors of 21 that would give us a positive 4. So let's look at the factors of 21. Now, 21, we have 1, 3, 7, and 21 as the factors of 21. Now, since these are the factors of 21, we can see that 3 times 7 would give us 21, and 7 minus 3 will give us 4. So now introducing it here, we have 7x, okay, 3x, and 7x. 3 times 7 is 21. But notice that this is a negative 21. So one of these numbers has to be negative. So this will be a minus 3. Why are we making the smaller number negative? Because our middle value is positive. So this becomes 7 minus 3 to give us 4. 7 times minus 3 to give us minus 21. Now, replacing this value, replacing 4 with these factors, we have it as 3x squared minus 3x plus 7x minus 7 equals 0. Now we group these two terms together. This we have as factorizing this. What's common here? We have 3x, so we'll put it out. Remaining 1x minus 1 plus 7 is common here, so we put it out, and minus 1 equals 0. Now you can see what we have in our bracket are same, so we bring them together. So this becomes 3x plus 7 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. Now bearing in mind that our 3x plus 7 equals 0, so therefore 3x equals minus 7, x equals minus 7 over 3. Now, if we divide that, 7 divided by 3 would give us 2. This will give us minus 2.3333. So to 2 decimal places would give us x equals minus 2.33. All right? Now, that's for the first value. And we have the second one as x minus 1 equals 0. So therefore, x equals 1. So our values for x would be minus 2.33 and 1. So with this, we've simplified or solved our equation. Simplify log 6 plus half log 81 minus log 27. Now, in this, we are going to apply some of our log rules, like the multiplication rule and the division rule, where we have log m plus log n equals log mn, and log m minus log n equals log m over n. Whereas subtraction becomes division, addition becomes multiplication. Now, first off, let's look at converting half log 81. Now, this is same thing as rewriting it as log 81 raised to the power half. And we know that in mathematics, when we have raised to the power of half, it's same thing as square root. So we can write this to be log square root of 81, which gives us 9. Okay, so imputing this as log 9, okay, imputing this as log 9 here, we have this as log 6 plus log 9 minus log 27. Now let's apply these rules here. For this, we have it as log 6 times 9, okay, and minus log 27. Now, applying this rule will give us log 6 times 9 over 27. Now, 6 times 9 would give us 54. So this would be log 54 over 27. And 54 divided by 27 will give us log 2. So with this, we've simplified our log. In an opinion survey, a group of people were interviewed about the daily newspaper read by them. Now, for the Tribune, we have 142 read the Tribune. Now, for the Champion, we have 122 to read the Champion. And for the Gideon, we have 118 people reading the Gideon. Now, out of them all, 66 people read both Tribune and Champion. So Tribune and Champion, we have 66. And next we have 48 people reading Champion and Gideon. So Champion and Gideon is 48. Now, the next we have 58 people reading Tribune and Gideon. Now, Tribune and Gideon, we have 58 people reading Tribune and Gideon. Now, 32 read all the three newspapers. So all of them, all three, we have it as 32. Now, our question says, illustrate this information using a Venn diagram. And 2, how many people were interviewed? Now, our first part in illustrating this information in a Venn diagram, all right? Now, this will be for Tribune. This will be for Champion. And this will be for Gideon. Now, since we have 32 people reading all three newspapers, so this will be where we'll fix our 32, which is the intersection of the whole all three. All right. Now, with this, we had asked that 66 people read Champion and Tribune. So for Champion and Tribune and Champion, T and C, which is our Tribune and Champion, we would have it as 66 minus 32, which will give us 66 minus 32 would give us 34. So we will be having for Tribune and Champion, which is this intersection, we have it as 34. Okay. Now, the next we will be looking at will be Champion and Gideon, C and G will be 48 minus 32, which gives us 16. Now, Champion and Gideon, which is this space, will be 16. All right. And Tribune, T and G, would be 58 minus 32. So 58 minus 32 would give us 26. So this space here will be 26. Now, we are going to find those that read Tribune alone, those that read Champion alone, and those that read Gideon alone. Now, to find this, okay, for Tribune alone, Tribune only, all right? Now, we're told that 142 people read Tribune. So that means if we look at our Tribune cycle, the entire number here should sum up to 142 in our Tribune cycle. So we'll do this as x, and 142 equals x plus 26 plus 32 plus 34. Okay, so we are having it as 142 equals x plus 26 plus 32 plus 34 would give us 92. So x would be 142 minus 92, which would give us 142 minus 92 would give us 50. So that means our x equals 50. So 50 people read Tribune only. Next, we'll be looking for those that read Champion only, which is y, Champion only. Okay, so from our total calculation, we have them as 122. So this becomes 122 equals, in our champion cycle, so we'll consider this cycle. So we have 34, 32, 16, and y. Y plus 34 plus 32 plus 16. So 122 equals y plus 34 plus 32 plus 16 would give us 82. So y equals 122 minus 82. So minus 122 would give us 40. So those that read champion alone are 40. Okay, next we'll look at those that read Gideon only. Our Gideon only would be, considering our guidance cycle, okay, we have 26, 32, and 16 plus z. Now, we have a total of 118. 118 equals z plus 26 plus 32 plus 16. Okay, 118 equals z plus 26 plus 32 plus 16 would give us 74. So z equals 118 minus 74, which gives us 44 people. Now, 44 people read Guardian alone, 40 people read Champion, and our Tribune is 50. Now, next to our next question, it says, how many people were interviewed? Now, for us to know how many people were interviewed, we are going to sum up all the numbers we have in our Venn diagram. Now, this will become total number of people interviewed we have it as 50 plus 34 plus 40 plus 26 plus 32 plus 16 plus 44. Okay, now this will give us 50 plus 34 plus 40 plus 26 plus 32 plus 16 plus 44 would give us 242 people were interviewed. So we have 242 people interviewed. So with this, we've solved our question. Our next question says, given 2 points x on latitude 50 degrees north and longitude 85 degrees east, and point y on latitude 50 degrees north and longitude 25 degrees east, find the distance between them along the common parallel of latitude. Take your radius of Earth, which is a big R, to be 6,400 kilometers and pi to be 3.14, and correct your answer to 2 decimals. Now, if we have our x, point x as latitude 50 degrees north and longitude 85 degrees east, then our point y on latitude 50 degrees north and longitude 25 degrees east. Now, we can see that our latitude is constant while our longitude varies. Now let's represent this on a pictorial form. Now if we have this as a globe, now from this is our equator, okay, and we have our lines running on lines of longitude and latitude this way. Okay, now for the constant, we have it on 50 degrees north. Okay, we have our latitude on 50 degrees north. So let's call this 50 degrees north. Okay, then we have our other line which goes on point X. This is X and Y. Our point X and Y would be point Y and point X. Okay, this would be 85 degrees. Let's call this 85 degrees east and 25 degrees east. Now, we are asked to find the distance between them on a parallel of latitude. Now, if we are to find the distance between them on a parallel of latitude, we are to understand and notice that it's not on the equator. So we are going to use the formula which says theta over 360 times 2 pi r cos theta. Now, let's call this theta 1 and theta 2. Now, this is the general formula for calculating on smaller cycles. If we are calculating on bigger cycles or the constant cycles, which is our equator and our longitude, we have it as theta over 360 times 2 pi radius of the earth. Now, in this, we are going to use this, okay? Where at theta 1 is the difference in our longitude, which is 85 minus 25, which will give us 60 degrees. So at theta 1 will be the difference in our longitude, which is 60 degrees, and theta 2 would be our latitude, which is constant, 50 degrees. Now, imputing this data into this, we have pi as 3.14 and our big R as 6,400 kilometers. Now, imputing all these values in here, we have it as theta 1, 60 over 360 times 2 times 3.14 times cos 50. Okay, so 0 here 1, 6 here 1, 6 here 6. So we have this as 2 here 1, 2 here 3. Okay, this becomes 1 divided by 3, which is 0.33 times 3.14 times cos 50. Now cos 50, we have cos 50 as cos 50 will give us 0.6428. Okay, now times 3.14 times 0.333. Times, okay, our 6,400, which is our big R. Now this gives us 4,305.7769. Now they said to 2 decimal places. So to 2 decimal places would be 4305.78 kilometers. Now that will be the distance between X and Y. Our next question says, a man saves a sum of money in a bank which pays simple interest at the rate of 4% per annum. If after 3 years the money amounts to 20,000, find the sum invested. Now let's solve A before we come to B. Now, looking at our question A, he invested, the rate is 4% per annum, time is 3 years, and we are looking for the principal. Now, it amounted to 20,000 after 3 years. And we know that interest is principal times rate times time over 100, and amount is interest plus principal. Okay, now let's impute this. We have our interest to be principal times 3 times 4 over 100. So if we cancel out, our interest will be 3p over 25. Okay, now having this as our interest, let's substitute it into this. Now we have amount equals interest plus principal. Okay, and we are told that it amounted to 20,000. So we have 20,000 equals interest, which is 3p over 25 plus p, okay, over 1. Now we can find our LCM of this. Now if we do our LCM will be 25. This will give us 20,000 equals 25. This will be 3p plus 25p. Okay, 25 into 25 is 1. 1 times 3 will give us 3p. 1 into 25 is 25. 25 times p will give us 25p. So from here, we have it as 20,000 equals 28p over 25. So cross multiply, 20 times 25 would give us 500,000 equals 28p. So our p would be 500,000 divided by 28. So that would be divided by 28 would give us our principal invested would be 17,857.14286 naira. So to the nearest whole number, we have it as principal invested will be 17,857. Now, this was the amount invested as the principal. Our question B says, 3 boys did a business together and shared the profit they made. Now, the first guy got 20% of the share, and the second guy got 37.5% of the remainder. So the second guy got 37.5% of the remainder. If the third boy received and the third guy received 450, how much was the profit they shared? Now, since the first guy got 20% of the entire share, now the second guy, our remainder for the second and the third guy would be remainder would be 100 minus 20, which is 80%. Okay, so the second and the third guy shared the 80%. But now, from our statement, we are told that the third guy got 37.5% of 80, which is, so 37.5% would be 37.5% would be This will give us 37 times 2, okay, would give us 74 plus 1, which is 75. 75 over 2, okay, percent. Now, of 80%. So this becomes 75 over 2 times 80 over 100. Okay, we can break this down to be 4 over 5. And this to be 2 here 1, 2 here 2, 5 here 1, 5 here 15. So this will give us 15 times 2, which will give us 30%. Okay, so the second guy went home with 30%. But now we know that since we have first share plus second share plus third share, okay, the 3 shares will sum up to 100%. And from our question, we are told that the first guy took 20%. And now we've calculated that the second guy took 30%. So the third guy's percentage will be x equals 100%. So this will give us 50 plus x equals 100. So x equals 100 minus 50, which is 50%. So if the third guy took 50% of the profit, which is 450, and they've made if 50% is 450, and we are asked to find how much the profit is. And we are asked to find how much the profit the shared is. So this becomes 450 plus 450, which will give us 900. So they shared a profit of 900 naira. Since the third guy took half of the profit, which is 50%, and the other two shared the other 50%. So their total profit shared is 900 naira. A man's salary for 4 months in a particular year was 14,001. So for 4 months, he earned 14,001. All right. Then there was a salary review in which monthly salaries were doubled. Okay. The monthly salary was doubled. So for 1 month, he earned 14,001 divided by 4. So we have 14,001 divided by 4. We have 3,500.25. Now, they said the salary was doubled. So doubled salary would be 35.25 times 2, which will give us 7,000.5. Okay, now it says calculate his total salary in that year. So for the first 4 months, he earned 14,001. So for the rest of the 8 months, he earned double of his salary. So this will be 7,000.5 times 8, which gives us 56,004. So his total salary for the year would be 14,001 plus 56,004 plus 14,001, which gives us 70,005. So his total salary for that year would be 70,005 naira. Obi, Ojo, and Bala are 3 partners who own a business venture. it was agreed that the profit will be shared such that Ojo received 2/5 of the total profit, and Obi would receive 2/3, while Bala would receive 1/4 of the total profit. So our total profit, let's call our total profit X. Now, if at the end of the year, Ojo receives 3,200 less than Obi, all right, what is Bala's share of the total profit? So Ojo will be 2x/5 plus our 3,200 equals 2x/3 of Obi. Now, having this, we'll collect like terms, which will give us 2x/5 minus 2x/3 equals minus 3,200. Okay, our LCM here will become 15. 5 into 15 is 3. 3 times 2 will give us 6x minus 3 into 15 is 5. 5 times 2 will give us 10x equals minus 3,200. Okay, so here we have minus 4x over 15 equals minus 3,200. Cross multiplying, we have minus 4x equals minus 3,200 times 15, which will give us minus 4x equals 3,200 times 15 would give us minus 48,000. So x will become minus 48,000 divided by minus 4. Minus cancel minus. X will give us 12,000. That means the total profit made was 12,000. Now, they said we should find Bala's share. Okay, Bala's profit, Bala shared 1/4 of X, which will become 1/4 times 12,000, which will give us 4 here 1, 4 into 12, 3. So Bala's share will be 3,000 naira. So his share in the profit would be 3,000 naira. With this, we've come to the end of today's class. Don't forget to share the link with your friends. See you in your next class.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the content you just watched. To see more episodes as that, preparing you for your oncoming exams, smash the subscribe button on this channel right now and visit the playlist that we've made for you, covering over 50 types of different exams, including JAMB, WAEC, Kakao, NET, IALT, and the likes like that.